Hi, my name is Dave and I'm the owner of Business Directory Plugin. This video tutorial will provide you a basic overview of the configuration options for Business Directory and what is important to set up right away. So let's get started. After logging into your administrator dashboard for WordPress, navigate to Directory Admin, Manage Options. This will display all of the settings that are configurable for the plugin itself. One thing that I'd like to point out is that what you see here is for the core plugin only. The premium modules that you can optionally purchase will add additional settings in the tabs and create new tabs as well. This is what your configuration will look like immediately after installation. The first thing to note is that BD is already notifying you about some potential problems about the configuration at the top of the screen. You should always pay attention to these messages here and try to remedy the issues that they are describing. We'll cover how to do this by the end of the video. At the top of the screen, you'll notice that the settings are broken down into groups by behavior. Here's a brief overview of the tabs and what kinds of settings you should expect to find there. The General tab is the place where we put plugin-wide settings that don't relate to any one specific activity. Try looking here first if you're not sure about a setting you need and if it doesn't seem to fit under any other tab. The Listings tab contains settings about the listings themselves, things like status after posting, category display settings, renewal, sorting, sticky listings, and so on. The Email tab controls the configuration of various emails that are sent by the directory during posting, expiration, and approval of listings. The Payment tab controls information around payment gateways, currency, and credentials to access your payment account to accept money for listings. The Registration tab is where you can restrict the postings of listings to only users that have accounts on your site. The Image tab is where you will set up the sizes of allowed images on listings and permissions to put them there. And lastly, Reset Defaults is where you can return to the original settings of Business Directory in case things get to a bad state and you're not exactly sure what went wrong. Let's talk about each tab in more detail now, starting with the General tab. This tab is a grab bag of various directory-wide settings. Here are a few highlights about the important ones you'll want to make sure that you set. At the top, the Permalink settings are values that will be used in the address links of your business directory pages and listings. We provide some default settings for you here that won't conflict with your existing slugs, but you are free to change these to anything that you want, provided that they don't create a conflict. Each slug that's listed here will affect a different URL, either the listing URL, the category URL, or the tag URL. The Recaptcha settings allow you to put a challenge on your listing submit form, the comment form, and the listing contact form to help cut down on spam. A link is provided here to get the API keys if you don't already have a Recaptcha account for your site. You can display the terms and conditions for your listings during the submit process by turning on this option here. You can put text for users to read or enter a link to an existing page that starts with HTTP, and that will be made into a page link on the submit form itself. The directory display options allow you control over which buttons will actually appear in the directory. Uncheck any of those that you don't want to show up. Lastly, the search options here are new as of 3.4.1 and allow you to configure the quick search field displayed at the top of your directory main page to search only specific fields. Please note, the more fields that you select here, the slower your searches will perform. The Listings tab contains settings that affect various parts of your directory listings. Under the General section, there are a number of settings here, but a couple of them stand out. First, the Listings per page allows you to set how many listings appear before the pagination will create links at the bottom of the page. If you have a directory with lots of listings, we suggest also using the WP Page Navi plugin, which is a nice pagination plugin and we integrate with it directly. Also, if you only want categories on your main page, make sure the Show Listings under Categories on the main page is unchecked. The Renewal section is where you configure listing renewing behavior. We now support automatic renewal of listings via PayPal, Stripe, and other gateways as of 3.4. The Post Category section allows you to define what state a listing goes into after someone submits it. If you want to approve listings after they've been submitted before they are displayed publicly, you'll want to set the default new post status to pending and change the admin notification to send email when new listings are created. The category and listing sorting options are fairly straightforward, so I'll skip those. We've added a new sort bar as of 3.4 that allows you to show a sorting header at the top of your listings in the directory in the user interface. You can enable that here and activate as many fields as you like to give your users more viewing options. At the bottom, we have our featured or sticky listing settings. When you're starting out, we recommend configuring everything else first, establishing the directory, and then turning this on. If you start with it right away, people tend to get kind of confused. The Email tab is next. Here we have all of the settings and basic templates for emails that are sent out by BD during various events in the directories, such as when a listing is submitted, a renewal is about to happen, and expiration notices. These settings are pretty straightforward, so I won't go over them. At the bottom of the tab, you'll notice that you have options for controlling which notices an administrator of your site can receive. Check any of these that might apply for you. We also have an email that can be carbon copied for these notices in case the person managing the listings is different than the site administrator. The Payment tab is important when you want to charge for listings in your business directory. First, to activate a paid directory, you must click Turn on Payments. After that, you should select the appropriate currency code and symbol used to display your preferred currency. Please note, even if you enter a valid currency code in here, not all of your payment gateways may be able to handle your currency because of their own restrictions. For example, PayPal doesn't accept any payments from the South African Rand, currency code ZAR, so make sure that you understand the limits of your preferred gateway. Now that you've activated payments and set the currency, you will also need to activate one or more payment gateways. By default, we provide Google Wallet. You can activate it here and enter the appropriate account information given by Google on their website. If you prefer a different payment method, you should visit our Premium Modules page and purchase the correct module. We offer integration with Stripe, PayPal, 2Checkout, and PayFast today. When you install a new module, additional payment gateway configuration will appear on this page. Once you've configured the gateway, to complete payment setup, you will need to add one or more fee plans under Manage Fees here. When you complete all three steps, the warning at the top about payments will go away. Next, the Registration tab is where you can force users to have a valid account on your website before being allowed to post a listing. We strongly recommend that you turn this option on because it tends to reduce spam listings, and it also gives users access to edit and manage their listings through the front end as well as their WordPress profile. If you activate Require Login here, you will also need to go under Settings General and enable the membership options. Once you do that, users will be allowed to register on your site as well. Once you've done both of those, the warning about registration will disappear on Business Directory. The Image tab is where you manage the allowed sizes of files to upload and how large they will display on your listings and directory. All of these settings are controlled on this one tab. For a free directory, this setting here controls the number of images allowed. Paid listings control the number of images on each fee plan under Manage Fees. If you activate payment for your directory, the number of free images setting is ignored here. Lastly, if you find that you want to get back to the factory settings for your site, just click the button here to restore the defaults for the entire directory. Warning: you will lose all of the settings that you made, so use this option very carefully. That's it for our configuration walkthrough today. If you have any questions, please post an issue on the support forum and we'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for using Business Directory Plugin.